there. My name's Joanna Bramer from Lighthouse Advisory. I've got Claire with me today. She recently reached out because she's interested in working with Lighthouse, but had a few questions. I thought it'd be valuable to record our conversation so you can listen along and hear the answers. I'm sure a lot of other business owners like yourself may have the same questions and concerns. So I'd love to help walk you through them with Claire today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Claire.
Thank you, Joanna, for letting me jump on and ask my questions. I hope I don't have too many. But with that, I'll just dig in. I guess my first question, maybe the biggest one, what are some signs that my business needs your services?
That's a great question, actually, and one of the ones I get a lot. So, a lot of business owners are really focused on the day to day running of their business, but don't take the time to dig into the financial aspect. So, if you're overwhelmed by financial reports, you're struggling to understand them, or maybe you completely keep everything out of a financial system and you
Oops.
send the receipts over at the end of the year to your accountant, that's a pretty good indicator that you could use some help. Another thing that I see in a lot of business owners is that they're very reactionary. So that means, something happens in their business and then they struggle to figure out how to address it instead of being strategic and planning and following through on that plan. So that's another pretty good indicator. In general, going back to taxes, if tax time is a struggle or stressful for you, it might be time to have a conversation.
Eek. Yeah.
I hear that a lot, that everybody's trying to get everything ready to turn over and, it's too much all at one time. But if you're working with me throughout the year, generally come tax time, you're just printing out a report for your accountant, and you're good to go.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Right? Let's see. So some other indicators would be maybe you've got some goals or plans for expansion and you don't know where to get started or whether or not your business could sustain the increased cost, or you aren't sure which of your products and services are the most profitable.
Oh, wow. I definitely have a few of these. So my next question is this term I hear that I want to make sure I get clarified. What is an expense analysis?
Okay, that's a fun one. So what it means is that I'm going to be digging into the financial transactional data of your business to understand how you're spending money, what categories are the largest spend for your business. I'm going to help break down the difference between your cost of goods sold and the cost of doing business. And a little bit about that, your cost of goods sold are directly related to either products or services that you're selling. So those are costs that you only incur when you sell something. Your cost of doing business is anything overhead. So office space, utilities, for example, any of your payroll for your staff, those are all costs of doing business. So understanding the difference between the two and what's driving the costs in your business, essentially, when you take your gross profits, what are your biggest cost indicators and how do we understand how that's driving your profitability?
Okay.
So I'll research and review all of those transactions by category. I'm going to be looking for hidden fees, any overlapping services or subscriptions that you no longer need. I've seen that a lot with a lot of clients that maybe they're being double charged for something, or they could be, there's a lot of services out there that people just sign up and forget about. And it may not seem like a lot, but it adds up over time. So being aware of what services you're paying for annually and where they may overlap so you can cut some of those.
Wow.
Yeah. We're also, I'll look at prioritizing the importance of your recurring costs. So sitting down with you, showing you what you're spending annually, monthly, whatever the recurring costs are. So you can say how important each of those is to running your business. And then we can set up contingency plans. So if one day you wake up and the business is bleeding money, where you can stop bleeding immediately and where you need to continue spending to keep things running.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that all sounds really important and like stuff I need. I think I really need your help, but what would be the next steps?
So the conversation we're having today, that is the best first step. I always offer my introductory consultations for free. I think that's important so we can have a conversation about the challenges and barriers you face, your own success, and then I can recommend a consulting package that would meet your needs. It's important that for both of us, we make sure that we're engaging with each other only if it makes sense. So, I have a client intake form that I send to everyone, that gives me a good idea of where you are as a business. I can better understand if you're able to afford the consulting package that would fit for you. And that way I'm not wasting anyone's time. If we're able to talk through it and see if it's a good fit, then that's our next step.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. I'm glad you explained a little bit about your process. I guess my next question would be then how do you support me after that next step after auditing my business?
Sure. So my consulting packages are always a full year. That lets us set ourselves up for success. It gives me enough time to really dig into your business and make recommendations to you. It also, on the flip side, allows you the time to implement those recommendations and see the difference. While we're in that full year contract, each month we're going to sit down and discuss your financial results, any ongoing projects we're working on, and talk through your evolving priorities. Because if there's one thing I know, every business owner I work with, when we close a meeting, there's usually something new that pops up that, hey, I was thinking about this. I'd like to discuss this. So that regular monthly cadence gives us an opportunity to say, you know what we're working on is great and it's really helping, but my goals and priorities are shifting. So can we talk about this instead?
That's awesome. That really makes sense. Okay, I'm going to be honest here. This all sounds really good. It sounds like something I really need in my business, but I'm kind of worried about the investment I'm going to need to make. So, like, how will I know I'm ready to make this investment?
That's usually a big one. So if you're really serious about reaching that next level, I'm confident we can find a package that'll work within your budget. The cost of the investment should be more than covered by the improvements you'll see in your profitability and efficiency. And most importantly, all of my consulting packages are fixed fee. So once we've figured out the scope of what we're going to do, you know exactly what it's going to cost every month. You're not going to be surprised by hourly billings or crazy invoices that were unexpected. Upfront, we're going to decide what that package is, what your fixed fee is, and you are locked in for the full year.
Wow, that's awesome. Those are all my questions. I'm feeling really good. I got some good notes, but is there anything else I should know about working with you before we kind of do the next steps?
I would say generally, pick up the phone. Don't be afraid to call me. That's one of the things I love about working with my clients is that I'm here. It's incredibly lonely to be a business owner. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help when you need it. One of the biggest things that I pride myself in providing to each of my business owners, each of my clients, is that they have somebody that they can talk through really big decisions with, and they have facts that I'm able to provide them. If you're looking to expand or do something or spend a large chunk of money, we can come together and figure out exactly what that looks like for your business so that it's less stressful to jump into a big decision like that.
That sounds wonderful and exactly like what I need. So thanks for answering all my questions.
Thanks for letting me record today, Claire.
Of course.